Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here, and I do apologize for taking. I think I promised this video 3 weeks ago. It might have even been longer ago than that. So again, I apologize. My normal site that I use to watch this series did not um, update with the final episode, so I had to find a second site that had the final episode because it stopped at episode 9, and so I had to find one that had all the way through episode 10 as well. So I'm going to use the first one for the first one, and second one second, all that fun stuff. So episode 9, which is oh god, what is it? I apologize. Tolerance is Extinction Part 2. So again, this ended up being a lot better than I thought it would. Again, my biggest complaint for the last 6 episodes, so the first 4 episodes, my biggest complaint is just that it's boring. Nothing happens. For the last 6 episodes is that it goes too fast. Even these last 3 episodes, which are basically one big episode in a way, just too fast. I think they could have done more. I think they could have done better. So it's been about 2 weeks since I've watched this, so I do apologize. It might take me a little bit here to get back into it. But no, I thought they did a really good job, and they used everybody well. Of course, Jubilee, annoyed that she's still the only one who can't fly. Magneto comes back out, Rogue being bad as hell. Professor X just going, man, my my wheelchair is broken. And just kind of seeing everything. They did a really good job going back through all this. And kind of the member berries of it all. Professor X coming back, Scott and Jean, upset with him. Like, why did you leave if this was the way it's going to be? And Professor X goes, I didn't want you to be a part of this anymore. I wanted you to be a family. And that's really and of course I think Scott says, well, that should be our decision, and I agree with that. And Professor X is like, I knew you wouldn't choose it. I knew you wouldn't. You would choose to be the heroes. So it's one of those things where it that actually hits pretty hard in the original X-Men series too, because Professor X is that way. His faults are that he thinks he knows better, and he knows people really well. That's one of his biggest things. Is he's actually a very good judge of character, but he doesn't understand humans, or they're mutants, but humans as much as he thinks he does. So anyway, go back to Nightcrawler saved Rogue. Yeah, those are his gloves. That's right. The X-Men come in and start kicking tail. Or no, they don't. No, they're cleaning up. That's right. Cleaning up. Coming back together. Being a team once again. And they all make a decision different than Charles. Well, half of them do. So they realize they gotta take care of everybody. Part of them go with Eric, part of them do not. So the lines are drawn. Eric and Professor X have it out. And Scott kind of reconciles with his son. And they use the old costumes. Again, nostalgia bait. It works. It does work. And again, I apologize that this is not as detailed as it normally would be. Again, it's been a couple weeks, and I'm like, I don't really want to go back and rewatch everything again. Again, they did a good job. They really did. You felt the stakes again. One of the nice things about killing off Gambit, now I still think they're gonna revive Gambit, but one of the nice things about killing off Gambit is that it does do that. Well, if one is gone, any of them could be gone. Jean gets kind of a revenge on Sinister. Eric does his part as the kind of have your Avengers, X-Men style Avengers Civil War for a little bit. But of course, you don't feel any stakes there. You know it's not going to last. You know it's not going to be, because it's X-Men versus X-Men for the most part. It's not X-Men versus Magneto's crew. It's X-Men versus X-Men. So in the end, they're going to work together to get rid of the Sentinels, because that's what you do. And then here we go. Professor X invading Eric's mind. And I believe Rogue goes after Charles. And while she's doing that, that's when Logan takes him out. And of course, you think he's going to die. But that doesn't happen, because of course it doesn't. Why would it? Once again, no stakes. So here's episode 10, the final episode of the season finale. I don't know how this one is going to adjust on this one, so I do apologize. Might have to play to catch it up. And how can you see? Yep, you can see everything. Now this one is not as forgiving. Well, let's kill the old one. All right, I apologize again. So it's not going to be as nice. So in the last episode, of course, Eric and Charles, Charles guides him through his memories and everything else, brings him back to reality, vanquish the bad guy, and they go their separate ways in different parts of history. So some of them end up in the past, some of them end up in the future, most of them end up in the past, in ancient Egypt. But of course, Jean and Scott end up in the future. And then Bishop comes along, and he's talking to somebody. Again, I don't remember this right offhand. But of course, he talks to one of them, and he's like, this is basically, he's saying, this has happened before. This is all going to happen again. And of course, because you got time travel in here, you open the possibility that Gambit will be back. So I assume Gambit's going to be back, because in comics, especially in animation, nobody is ever truly dead. So even though it started off, I wasn't sure how it was going to start off. In the first 4 episodes, I was like super critical, because I'm like, yep. And you guys heard it, in there. I was sitting there like, yep, it's in the style. It's in the style, but it's not the same. And I stand by that. It's in the style, but it's not the same. This is not the same writers. It's not the same animators. Everything is in that, it's kind of like looking at someone else doing a masterpiece, not a forger, but someone doing a tribute to a masterpiece. So someone doing a tribute to Leonardo da Vinci's works. They may be just as good. They may be in some ways better, but it's still, that doesn't mean it's the same. Again, once you get past those first 4 episodes, then it starts feeling like the X-Men. It's not the X-Men. It's different. You can tell it's different. It's written current day, and it feels like it's written current day. It's not as timeless. It doesn't have the rewatchability. I didn't even want to rewatch it for this. But it's not bad by any means. But again, I would never subscribe to Disney just for this. Especially when sites like these exist, especially when you can go to other websites and find them. So if you're able to do so, it takes a little bit of searching. It takes a little bit of patience to find them. Um, and I do apologize. I'm not gonna out these websites because I don't want them getting shut down. Is the long and short of it. Um, is it good? Absolutely. You know what? Again, after the first 4 episodes, and even the first 4 episodes, you kind of need to get back into the X-Men, especially this version of the X-Men. And it helps you reacclimate or acclimate to the voices. Reacclimate to the old ones who are coming in new, and then, the the old ones coming in new, and then the new ones coming into different voices. I After going through it, a lot of the voice actors were great. Probably the toughest one of the new voices is Charles. The toughest one of the older voices is Rogue. The best of the new voices is Scott, and the best of the old voices is Storm. And I really wish they had delved into Storm more. And that I think, again, once going back to the complaints, is um, they tried they tried doing the multiple storyline thing, and it just didn't work. It's like, okay, we did this, and now we're going to pause this storyline and focus on this. And now we did this, and we're going to pause this, and they're just they burn through too much all at once. And I get that animation is expensive. I get that, 10 episodes is probably the most that's ever going to be made in current day at this point, for Western animation. It really deserves 16. I mean, if you could do a full 24, that would be amazing, but it really deserves 16. And I think they could have fleshed out the stories more, but I know they're not going to get the budget for that type of thing. Everybody's hurting on this one, in animation and things like that. So if you already have Disney Plus, give it a watch. You'll love it, especially if you love the original. If you don't have Disney Plus, if you know somebody who has Disney Plus and they want to watch it with you, or you go over to their house or whatever enough, do that. Otherwise, sail the seven seas and find it. Don't use Google. You're probably not going to find it with Google. You're probably going to need to use like Brave or DuckDuckGo, or some other thing that doesn't skew their search results. But anyway, like I said, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, even after my initial critiques. I'm not going to say I was necessarily wrong. Again, it's not the X-Men, but this is as close as you can get. I do believe in current day, this is as close as you can get, while staying mostly true to the original, especially when this is 30 years old. The original show is over 30 years old. So, again, it really is as close as you can get. I'm looking forward to the second season. I don't think there's going to be more than 2 seasons. I don't, because the numbers just aren't good enough. So I don't think there's going to be more than 2 seasons, but I am definitely looking forward to the second season. So of course, when that comes out, I'll review it. In the meantime, if you guys liked it, like my review, and I do apologize again that this is so horrible. If you liked it, please give me a like, share, subscribe, all the other fun stuff. If you didn't, I thank you for checking it out, and I will see you in the next one. You guys take care.